Okay, hopefully there's not too much background noise. What's up, my divine, shiny diamond beings? I'm all on the da-da-da today, evidently. Trip out. What we're witnessing. I know that you're feeling the shifts. For all y'all who just show up and listen and take in the frequency, thank y'all for even letting me know that that's what's going on, because it makes sense, because the frequency of this information is so powerful and so truthful and so to the root of something, because of the nature of who I am and how I'm connected into all of you and how the etheric realms work and how it works whenever an angelic army connected into ancient roots of the planet are activated all at once. Because what the fuck was going down on Earth, man? So all morning lots of stuff's happening. Me and Mike, of course, we're in it because we've been through the inception of the rebirthing of this planet and the human race. In some way, if you've been involved with me or if you've been listening, then you're involved in that, in whatever lineages that you came from, either from the earth root races of the Irish and all those lines, or if it came from the star side, from DNA of more of the hybridized royalty races in those dimensions that have been trying to get back down here, and all of that, and how you're connected into it, which would be more the B line, or if you're connected into the Masonic Illuminati infrastructure that was printing humans and royalty down here, and then where that came from and the ancient connections, because that's why you's doing it. Like, who freaking knows? But all to reset everything. So, and I'm channeling this, this is this chart right here. I mean, I'm telling you straight up, energetically, this is where we're at. Because we just had a reset yesterday. And we had a lift up to a 44 infrastructure. So I'll ask everybody, where you been stationed the past 3 years? Literally. So it's like, welcome on the ship. Number one, I know you remember being here. Number two. Number three, where were you stationed the past 3 years? What were you doing? Even if it seemed so molecule, even if it was something off the wall, the last 3 years. Because no matter your energetic, what you do on a day-to-day basis was all utilized in a higher purpose, whatever it was. And a lot of us went back unconscious again because they shifted the gates in 2018. So that is what even this chart is explaining, with Moon going over 24 degrees. Okay, because you're being lifted out. The collective seeing it. You're seeing it, but you're also, we knew that it was going to happen. There's only certain constellation lineups that you could get that purest peak of frequency. Now ain't it? Now is it. We just connected it. But we connected it and brought it in. Because it wasn't, now's not when that energy came in. It came in. Well, see, that was all the Gabby Petito stuff. And that's when we saw the stuff about this New York woman who was stabbed 60 times. Well, in our world, around that same day, somebody was having heart surgery, and the whole hospital caught fire and shut the surgery down, because that was how they were doing Illuminati, because it all mattered about DNA, who was doing it, what was the intention, and it was, so I can tell you that Klein Klein knew something was coming just because he knew what he was involved in, and he knew that it didn't get to who he sent it to, too. Sun Leo. Because it's not going to get our line. It can't. It can't. Because of the existence of why we're here, to bring in new earth stuff and new physics. We don't give a shit about that stuff. We blow it up. So the moon is highlighting that right now. And it's the IC's going through Libra, so because it's balancing out. Today's Monday, which is Moon Day. So all the emotions from the collective is clearing that out through a filter, which is what Mondays are right now. So just know Mondays always, you're kind of like in a little bit more emotional mood, processing a little bit, everything's settling back in because it is going through the collective moon. But then that's going over to Pluto at 28 degrees, has all the new timelines, has all the new and old soul. Because your human still has to be in line with your soul, right? It's all learning down here. So Pluto has both sets of timelines and is triangulating it over to Neptune on Jupiter still, sitting at 24 degrees on the other side of the hybrid space station, what we would call Zeta Reticuli. So we ate them, and we did. We had to come through it as a collective. It is part of your being now. That hybridization piece, that little connection to the electricity, that little connection to the Wi-Fi, it's in your DNA now, damn straight. It was made from human energy. Elizabeth Smart meters, come on. So it's why we're so powerful, but also, that is the main problem down here on Earth. Everybody is so damn powerful, and you don't realize how powerful you are, and then freaking things like this get set up to control your power. No, well, that's what grid can't hold anymore. It's impossible. The frequency of the planet has now moved up. Mars is in Fomalhaut right now. So it's like Mars is going through the eye, and now he's seeing the whole picture. And it's like his cataracts are getting buffed out. Literally. And then that's beaming over to the sun. Well, the sun's going through what we used to call Andromeda. Now it really is kind of like Aldebaran in a way. Because that fake space, it's actually just the consciousness of the Alpha Draconic Nodus 44 being held upside down, basically. And then made to think in space, but it was a CD-ROM, it was a Masonic story that was always written on this part right here, 25 to 0 degrees, 25 Aries to 0 degrees Taurus. So it was always a story or an Illuminati timeline, huge collective spell in order to write those pieces and not tell the truth of how the connection became from the avian beings to the core of the ashes, basically. Okay, and the last story written was this whole space Andromeda thing. Okay, well, everything is then been serving its purpose of why it was originally created that way. Okay, well, now we know that it's because they also held 3 distinct DNA layers that held connections to the earth beings and then to the star races that were the 22 that mixed together and seeded to come back down here. I mean, because this was a mission like no other, save Earth. We had to get here and activate everybody, no matter what the hell's going on. Seriously. We're taking a higher energetic. We're over the AI. We're over the Zeta. Now it's all connected into the human DNA. Even those of us in our etherics and the higher that are having to run shit are doing it. And a lot of you are also entering into your next phase of ascension, which is then showing you'll start doing the job of your higher self in this timeline, being shown what it is that you were controlling in the etherics and in core roots of things, so that then you can because the whole point of you being here is to know what to do with it next in order to create the highest vibration of whatever that is. And that literally is your job. So in the beginning, you might get thrown out into astral, like not out of your body. If you get thrown out of your body, then demand not to be thrown out of your body, and that's something. Like, why is it that you go astral travel and you immediately leave your body? Exactly. Because your line at some point completely left his body and didn't come back in. Well, now, and that then was used as a projection. You see, that's how it worked. Well, then, but now that connection is there. Demand that you come back in your body. You see the whole thing. Shut down that portal. Because literally there's no other place for them to go outside. All the portals are shut down, wide open. And there is no entry to any low-frequency being in any of the ascended networks without balancing out at the doorframe. That's how it works. Like, I'm just reminding everybody how the etherics work down here with your energy bubble, because y'all got sigils and shit on your energy fields that'll blow your fucking mind. That's how it works. That's how we found each other. So all that is what's happening right now. And because Mercury just went over Uranus too. So Mercury now is at 14 degrees and 13 degrees Taurus is, that's 2,000 count to 220, I think, honestly. So 14 degrees Taurus, then that's going to shoot us into, I don't know, shitballs. I'm seeing 4,000 and something even, because 2,000, I can take you to 2,000, 4,000, 6,000. Like, see, this is where time stops making sense. Right around 12 to 13 degrees Taurus. 1,200, 1,300. She's Lourdes. Exactly, 2,600, 2,400. And then, see, and this is where everything went into a collider. Like, literally. What ended up making Pleiades and the other side, but still disconnected, you see. But this is even me still talking about what's going on in Andromeda right now, because it's almost like the Pleiadian structure of that creative energy and pure intention is even what's merging into the Master Decan of Aries now, as it's folding, and it's part of the new Earth infrastructure and how everyone's been working together no matter what. Where have you been for the past 3 years on the mission? Where'd you get sent? Where'd you get sent? What'd you get sent to deal with? Because literally you did it with the collective, and you were part of a much bigger machine that was all working together just like they had, except from our end. You were undercover in the army. What energy were they having you make? How'd you figure it out? How did you alchemize through it? How'd you transmute through it? That's your superpower. How do you link into the rest of this? What do you need to do to clear that connection? Do you need to do you need to help me plan a party in your area for coHUE32 and activate a bunch of people? Let's do it. Contact me. Whatever it is, ask your higher self. Not everybody's going to say that, thank God. I can't do everybody. You have a route. You'll know who to contact. You're in the higher. When you're pulled up to the higher, you're going to get clear direction, and you see fuck shit a mile away. Just like how this Gaul stuff was set up on it. I know the story. I was waiting for it. The collective helped him produce it with Batman. Same story. Oh, you mean the Russian part of the DNA is in the bag? Okay, well that makes sense. Yeah, she's the one who died. All right. That makes sense. And no, that makes sense in the story. And there it goes. It plays out because this is the root of the matter, is the ancient information. Just wash away everything. I mean, that's crazy human shit. We had to clear through it real quick, and then it went crazy AI real quick, and then what happened? Where'd the human intelligence go? That's what happened. Human intelligence. Most humans don't know what that is anymore. Fucking literally. They were taken over by AI. Okay. Now you can birth through that. You have to. We had to. That's my point. Where you been stationed the past 3 years? What happened? It's going to play out around you to show you. It's fucking nuts. It was a big ass machine. It was. It was. It was almost like when you came on that one side of the gate, you got split into a bunch of pieces of whatever power source you could, blah, 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 like split into pieces. Excuse me. Ooh, that was a shaman burp, and I hardly ever have those. See? But I mean, it was how the planet was originally made, with intentions and spells, and there were those of us that were the lines that were connected into it, which is why we held royal tiles to begin with. So that's what this chart is doing right. This is what's going on right now. And I clearly saw yesterday too the framework of, and I keep calling it the judo line because it is where those connections happen. So realize what's also happening is as you're clearing and connecting, because look, now most of the collective is going to start proving who they are on land. Now, there has been already a cycle that moved that everybody was asleep to, and it started in 2020 when everything shut down. That's why my shit got crazy, because the ones of us who had to write it and that were here to prove in judgment and to walk through it, because we're still finding out the real story, but it was written because they came at us in 2020. That's when this started writing. This was a new millennial count. This was resetting everything. That's why the dark didn't stop neither. It was the last go around. They gave it everything they got. Okay, well, num 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 num. Thanks for giving us all the information. Are we done with this now? Because there is no 33 parallel for you to even exist on anymore. Because you just tried to come at us again and take the entire infrastructure? How about no? It's going to work in its reverse. But we always knew it would. We just had to have the right connections in the seeds down here activated in order to hold the frequencies, because we work in a giant network. As long as one of us was activated to hold it, one of us would get it. Then it just took a minute for that to all happen. It's been happening across the freaking board, to where there was then enough of us on each side, dark side, tan side, whatever, on the outskirts connected, and we formed this quilt, and it really is. And this is the new energetics in the DNA, and you are more powerful than you realize. And welcome to basically either confirmation stage on the planet or dragon training, or probably a mixture of both as you're doing the other. Meaning you're going to be shown how powerful you are. You're going to if you're meeting beings that are powerful, they're showing up because you're there. And in some sense or form, you have to establish dominant energy or not. Now, are you getting the call and are you getting the message? Because the signal's going out for XYZ to show up at XYZ. And did you get the message to wear the blue hat? I don't know. How clear's your channel? Those are type shit that's being tested on the planet now in ways that you can't even possibly attempt to predict. This is how you make your connections down here on Earth. It's been going on with me for 3 fucking years. It's really wicked cool when you just get in the game and start figuring out that's what's going on. That's what the only thing we teach over here is how to get your body clear and get it conscious and understand these different energies and explain what's going on, because it's all about what you do and what you want to do even after you make your connection. You're just showing up at that place with that blue hat on, which proves a bunch more shit. If you didn't wear the hat, then you still proved one of them, but now you're going to have to show up somewhere else. You see what I'm saying? Because it was a timeline. It was your timeline. Shit, and if you happen to spend the exact amount of money that you did in 1912, it'll really blow their fucking mind. See? Because you did it to the root, but you followed your intuition, and you don't even really fucking know what you did. You knew that it was huge, and that's, see, I'm even finding out right now. I'm going to have to go back and listen to this, because evidently I just did that. Because there's no conscious way for you to even be able to connect the infrastructure. But each one of us gets pieces of the message depending on which DNA lines. And so literally that's how it works, y'all. And once that happens, then it starts a new level of clearing because you break open the Akash, or you're given all the energy from the other ones that were taking it from you. But then also that might even feel like an attack at some point. But that is because you just powered up. Now you've got to deal with that level of power. And then they'll go through, so on the mass scale, I mean, this is why even in Los Angeles, they shut down the intersections and were doing donuts at one point, because that was helping us energetically undo some shit in the wheel, and it proved some shit. It proved who they were, that they were connected. They were hearing the messages. They knew we needed it, and they organized it and did it. Thank God. But more stuff like that is going to be going on because massive amounts of people are claiming. And it works in a big network with the constellations even. As they line up, it's like it kind of resets and gives the human the chance, because the stories get backed up and it goes down into a plateau, and then there is another awakening cycle, as if it happened all over again in 2017 is the best way to put it. The energetic that we exploded whenever the seeds activated to reconnect all of the light just came on in here. That energy that we birthed then is the energy now that we're living in, because that was the original energy that came out of all of us ancient seeds to activate it. Everything since was connecting it and clearing the timelines in order to maintain it and then take control. So that 2017 energy is that original ascension cycle, and the entire collective, and how we started that whole ascension cycle, and even a lot of the ascension terms that we use right now all came in from 2017 to 2020. How we used YouTube, how we used, there's another whole starting of that, and literally the stars, the energy, the planets, our story of coming through it is what the planets are even giving out, because it's all our healing is basically coming back onto the collective, and it works together to pull them out from a higher perspective in a balanced way. And so, we're going to see a lot of changes and but that is what's happening to the collective. A new burst, but this time it's through the AI, through the code. I mean, there ain't nothing like, it flushes the system in the body, Source codes are just coming through the planet now. You've seen it. Go look at Series A. So that is what's happening now, this reset. That's what's going on. And here's the chart. 11:04, the day after the reset. The day after, where all the shadow shit falls from the moon. Don't let your eyes trick you, and don't get in the helium gate, the H gate, the helium zone. Just ground yourself. Make sure that you realize when you're dealing with only computer stuff that that's what's going to manifest too. What are you focusing on?